lesson, we're going to talk about 2D shapes and the properties they have. We're going to talk about 6 shapes in particular. I'm just having a look at the shapes I've got in front of me and talk about the properties they have, what the differences are, what the similarities are, and we're going to, in particular, going to be filling out this chart. We'll be identifying the name of the shape. We'll be talking about the number of sides it has, how many straight sides, how many curved sides, and how many vertices there are. I'll explain all of these as we go through today's lesson. So I'm just going to need to choose one of my 2D shapes to begin with. And when I was thinking of which 2D shapes to do, I was literally sat in my kitchen getting ready for the lesson and thinking, what 2D shapes can I use? And I realised 2D shapes are all around us. In every day of our lives. You can have 3D shapes, which are actual objects in and around the room, wherever you are sat now, but on each part, every 3D shape is made up on its faces of different 2D shapes. I'll give you an example. So, I was getting my breakfast this morning, and I've left the box on the side. I shouldn't do really, I need to tidy up. And here we have my Cocoa Pops. But when I was having a look at this 3D shape, cuboid, I was looking at the faces of each side of this 3D shape. We have a face here, we've got one here, down here, on the back. All of the faces are made up of a 2D shape. So I'm going to show you it again. See if you can work out what the 2D shape is. What is this 2D shape? If you've already worked out what it is, how do you know it is that shape? What properties make you know and understand what shape it is? It is, of course, this shape. I made some of my own 2D shapes to show you. It is the rectangle. A rectangle has how many sides, everyone? I'm trying to work out the best way to hold this so you can see it. So I've just realised I've got a blue rectangle and a blue top on. Doesn't make it too easy. Let's try. That's a bit easier. Just like that. Perfect. How many sides does this rectangle have? Well, first of all, we need to know what a side is. These long straight edges are the sides. Let's count them first of all. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides. So the first thing I'm going to do when we start filling out our charts today is we're going to write down the name of our shape. I'm trying not to rub out all the lines as I go. It's going to be a rectangle. And the first thing we've done is we've worked out how many sides it has. The next 2 questions are interesting. So we've identified it has 4 sides, but then we need to talk about straight sides and curved sides, because there are differences. Here, you can see straight side. But what about the circle? That doesn't have any straight sides. All the sides on this one are curved. So first of all, have a look at this shape. Sorry, I'm trying to balance everything at the same time. Have a look at this shape, the rectangle. How many curved or straight sides does it have? The answer, of course, is 4 straight sides. Straight side here, another one here, another one here, and another one here. I'm trying to work out why it's on a funny angle. It looked like it was straight to me from where I was. So, I'm going to fill out our chart some more. So it has 4 straight sides and no curved sides. None at all. The last thing we're going to come on to, how many vertices? What are the vertices? Maybe you already know at home, and if you do, can you tell mums and dads or older brothers and sisters if they're with you now? Now, of course, vertices are often referred to as the corners. The correct mathematical term for these, though, is not the corners, it is the vertices. So, how many vertices does this rectangle have? Let's hold it there when you can see everything. Of course, it has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 vertices. Excellent. Have a go at filling that one out. There we are. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly go through and name some of the shapes that I've got in front of me, and then we're going to have a bit of a challenge, and at the end we'll fill out the rest of the chart. Just wanted to give you some examples. So I'll go on to my next shape. This is our next shape. We've seen it already very briefly. It's called a circle. A circle has its own individual properties that make it different from a rectangle and the other shapes I'm going to show you. Some of them will be the number of sides, the number of vertices, the number of straight or curved sides. All the differences make up the different shapes. The next one, triangle. Again, the properties are different, making it a different shape. I'll come to that one at the end, actually. We'll talk about that in a moment. The next one, you see that I'm holding to try to jump at that a bit better. I need to think about the colour coordination for my videos now. This is a hexagon. This one has a certain number of sides as well. It has different properties that make it the shape it is and make it different from the other shapes we have. The next one, can you remember what this one is called? It's called a pentagon. This one is called a pentagon. The last one is the one I wanted to ponder a question for you to think about as we go away and do our next little practical activity. Is this shape? Of course, it is called a square. You may notice, if you compare the two, the rectangle and the square, some of the properties are the same. So what makes the square and the rectangle different? Can you explain why they are different to the adults or the people who are with you? Now, have a think about that question, because I'm going to have a challenge for everyone. Like I said this morning, I looked around my house and I spotted, well, my kitchen in particular, and I spotted that I saw some 2D shapes on some of the faces of the 3D shapes in my kitchen. I want to set you a challenge now. I want you to see if you can find any objects in your home that contain the shape of a square, of a rectangle, a hexagon, of a pentagon, of a triangle, or even of a circle. Before you run off and go and grab everything from around the room where you may be sitting or anywhere in the house, I want to make a few points. The things you're going to choose, they want to be sensible things to pick up. They don't want to be too big, they don't want to be too heavy, and they also want to be things that you are allowed to touch and pick up. It will be helpful if you've got a mum and dad with you and you ask them before you choose that object to bring to take part in this next part of the activity. Okay, everybody, so think carefully about what is around you. Only pick up things that are sensible to do so, and I would advise it would be a good idea to ask mums and dads if it's okay for you to use them in this next activity. We're only going to be looking at the mums and dads, and at the most we might draw around a couple of them, but I would advise that boys and girls use pencils to do this. So, I'm going to give everyone a few minutes now to go and have a little hunt around the room you're in, or even go to a different room and find some of these 2D shapes. Off you go, everyone. I'm going to move my camera to make it a bit easier for you to see. Here. Angle my camera down enough. You can. And up towards me I need to go. There we are. So if you need any reminders, you should be able to see the 2D shapes on my table. So you might want to look for those with a circle, with a square or with a rectangle, with a triangle, with a pentagon, or with a hexagon. Any of these shapes is part of the faces of the objects you have found. If you have already found some objects and you're waiting for those other boys and girls to join in, maybe start looking at your 3D objects and just work out how many faces that 3D object has, and can you see different 2D shapes as part of that box? Maybe in some of the writing or the decoration on it. Cardboard box. I can see some different shapes on the front already. I can see some circles as part of the lettering. I see quite a few circles as part of the lettering. I can see some squares on the back where the barcode is. There's shapes all over these boxes actually. And I'll share with you some of the objects I found in my home to match some of these shapes as well. If you are waiting and you still want to be pondering the question I asked earlier, I asked about the square. I talked about the properties of the rectangle to begin with, where we said it has 4 sides, 4 vertices, and 4 straight sides. Why is the square different then? Why does it have a different name? Can you explain why the two are different? Why? I'm going to give everyone 1 more minute and then we're going to continue. It should be plenty of time. If you haven't got lots of objects, it's absolutely fine. Please don't worry. If you are waiting still and you've got some objects, maybe you could already be thinking about some of these 2D shapes I've got on my table and about some of the properties that they possess. Maybe you can already start working some of these out and talking about them so you're ready for when we start to fill in our chart. Right, everyone, let's continue with our lesson now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Right, everybody, so I had a really good hunt around my house and I think I found shapes for all of the objects, for all of the 2D shapes bar one. I struggled with one of them. Let's see how you got on. So, if you have got any objects with a circle face, pick those up now. Because I've got one here. Got a few actually. I could find this is one of my easiest ones to find. I found a tin of soup in my cupboard. Chicken and mushroom, it turns out. And I looked at this shape and I thought, well, there's a 3D shape. It's a cylinder. But some of the faces are, of course, circular. So, a circle at the top of that face and a circle at the top on this face, with a few other more indentations that make it almost like a circle, I guess. 1 or 2. So, I found some circles to go on some 3D shapes. I also had another look around my house and I thought, right, what can I see? Right. We've already talked about the rectangle, but I was looking at these very pleasant candle holders. My wife likes to have lots of candles in the house. And I looked at this shape and I spotted that the base of it is in fact a square. Almost a perfect, in fact, they match even. They almost fit perfectly. They actually do fit perfectly together. And that's a bit strange because I didn't actually draw around this to cut out this shape. It's a bit spooky. Let's put that on there. So, the rectangle I've already talked about. I'll use my cereal box. The next one, the triangle. I struggled. I really struggled to find any objects in my house with the triangle shape on them. Maybe I just didn't look in the right places because I did look very carefully. And I didn't quite want to cheat a Peter because I did have, or I do have even, my ruler. And as you can see on my ruler, it does in fact have a triangle. It doesn't look exactly the same, but the properties are still the same. There's just one thing I didn't like about it, as the reason why I didn't use that as an example. Next, the pentagon. I didn't cheat properly on this one, but I kind of did because it wasn't easy to find. But I was looking at the objects in my house and I found a key. This is a key to open some of our windows. And on this key, oh, let's hold it up. There you go. The head of the key is in fact pentagon. It has the same number of sides. We'll go through classifying the properties of all these shapes. And the last one, I really looked hard for this one. And at the last minute, as I was about to start the live lesson, I spotted it as I opened a curtain. This is a very fancy candle holder. As I say, my wife does like to have candles. And I've just spotted a triangle. I've just spotted them. There's so many triangles. So many triangles on this shape. There's one there. There's one there. There's one there. Wow. Okay, I found triangles, boys and girls. I've succeeded in finding them all. But the last one, hexagon. The base of this candle holder actually has the same number of sides as the hexagon. I'm trying to pull my hand out the way. Just about see it. So you may have found all these objects around your home, and now we're going to use these objects in any faces. Don't worry if you haven't got as many as I have. We'll go through them together. Of now putting in the properties for each of these shapes. So I'm just going to move some of the objects to a side so that we can see perfectly. So we've done the rectangle, so I'm going to move that one out of the camera. Next, square. First things first, I'll write the name of the shape. First things first, I'm going to give you a bit of time now to work out. I won't give you very long, just a little bit of time to look at the square and work out, work out the number of sides, how many straight sides it has, how many curved sides, and how many vertices. Remember, the vertices are the corners, but we're not calling them corners anymore. The correct mathematical term is vertices. So, have a go now. How many sides? How many straight sides? How many curved? And how many vertices? If you want to look at any objects you've got that you collected with a face that is a square, you can use this to work out the answers as well. A few more moments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. So I'm trying to do a balancing act. I keep dropping the whiteboard. Now we're going to start with the square. So first of all, the number of sides. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy peasy. Does it have any straight sides? Yep. It has, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 straight sides. Here we are. Does it have any curved sides? Well, technically, I've already given you the answer. I told you that the rectangle and the square had the same properties for our chart. So, we know it has no curved sides, and of course it has 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Have you managed to work out and explain why these two shapes have the same properties, but they are in fact different? We're going to wait until I've filled in the chart and we'll talk about it together. So we're finished with the square. Next, the circle. You can have a look at my circle on the camera to to work out the answers to the chart. Or if you've got your objects with a circular shape on one of the faces, you can use that now. So first question is, how many sides? How many straight sides? How many curved sides? And how many vertices? Off you go in 3, 2, 1. Try and make sure my computer's still playing nice. Please don't fall. A few more moments and we'll go through the answers together while waiting for them to write the name. Circle. Right, everyone back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, everyone, the first question. How many sides? It has just one. One side that continues going all the way around the shape. So we're going to put 1. Does it have any straight sides? No straight sides. The only side it does have is curved. It is not straight. Does it have any corners? No. No corners. Next, the triangle. I'll hold mine so you'll be able to see it as well. And you can also look at any objects you may have with the triangle shape on it. Please try and work out the properties. How many sides? How many straight sides? How many curved? And how many vertices? Everyone ready? Let's go through the answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First things first. The triangle. So, how many sides? Of course, whoops, keep losing the whiteboard today. 1, it's going to stay there shortly. 1, 2, 3. 3 sides. How many straight sides though? Has 1, 2, 3, all straight. How many curved? None. None at all. How many vertices? It has 1, 2, 3. 3 vertices. 2 shapes left, everyone. The next one. Can you remember what it's called? If you can't, we'll answer that in a moment. But how many sides? How many straight sides? How many curved? And how many vertices? You go hold it a bit closer if you struggle to find any objects with this shape on one of the surfaces. On the properties if we're not careful. Everyone ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This shape is called a pentagon. And one of the best ways to remember it's called a pentagon is by the number of sides it has. It has, in fact, let me see where I can hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sides. All of them are straight. All 5 of them are straight. It doesn't have any curved sides. But how many vertices? Once again, another property to help you. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices to help you know it is a pentagon. The last one now. Don't worry if you can't remember what it's called. We will be practicing. But please work out the properties of this shape. Everyone ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just realising maybe I should have held the shapes maybe this way up. So I do apologise for that. Let's go through what the name is. It's called a hexagon. And there's the properties to help you remember what its name is that it has how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. All 6 of them were straight. None of them were curved. And how many vertices again? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. And here we have our chart. To help remind us what the name of some of these 2D shapes are, here are their properties. Last thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you an activity that you can do now. You can either cut out 2D shapes like I've got here, move them this way so you can see them. You can put them on a piece of paper and you can draw around them, or even these 3D shapes you've found. Ooh, I'm going to have a go at the 2D shapes. 3D shape to draw around. It might be a bit easier. Ooh, come on, pen. Just a chance there because I'm juggling. You can have a go at drawing around these 3D shapes with Mums and Dad's permission, of course, to try and draw some shapes. Now, what actually am I going to draw? I'm going to put a circle on here. Oops. I think I need to buy a new pen, boys and girls. Circle. I think I could probably turn it into a robot if I had a few more shapes, as I've got the start of the head, I've got the body, maybe a few rectangles to go elsewhere, and I can turn it into a man or even a robot. Excellent. The last thing I want to show you are some of the activities that are available in some of the downloadable packs. So, one moment. I'm back on camera. Make myself a little bit smaller. Let me first show you the activity packs that are available. This is the link to the activity pack. It does have some activities like this in. This will be one of them, where you can sort some of the shapes here, which can be cut out or drawn, to go into this matching activity. So you can choose if it's got straight sides, if it's got curved sides, or even in the middle, if it has both. We have properties where you've got to read the description. For example, this one has 6 straight sides and 6 vertices. If we look at our chart, only one had 6 sides and 6 vertices. That, in fact, was the hexagon, so we'd have to write the name. And then you can cut and stick, or even just draw the correct shape to match that description. You don't need that one. This is the one. We've got some colouring activities that are available. Again, the link is in the description to the video, where you've got to use the key down here for the shapes to colour and match. And with it coming up to Easter, we've got some Easter egg activity ones here that you can choose. Again, you can be able to print these off, or you could even draw your own by drawing an big oval shape for the egg and decorating it using different shapes that we have used today. These are available to download from the Twinkl website. And we've also got the colouring activity. As part of this activity pack here, it does have a few challenges like filling out these property tables. So you can have a go at doing that. And that will be the end of today's maths lesson. I hope you found today's maths lesson useful. A lot of the work and the terminology we've been using in this lesson are things that children do need to be using on a regular basis now. You can also move it on to lines of symmetry. I would have loved to have shown that today. However, you may have seen already I was struggling to juggle all the resources, given that I'm having to do it in front of a camera. I'm trying to juggle a mirror at the same time to demonstrate this. I didn't fancy trying to do that in front of a camera because I don't think it would have worked out all too well. So, we will be back this time next week, Tuesday at 11 o'clock to do the next 5 to 7 years old maths session, the Key Stage 1 if you like. But you can join us each day from Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday for other math lesson content, but they will be moving through the age groups now, so each age group has at least one math session a week, trying to fit in as much as we can. So I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and if I don't speak to you sooner, I'll see you soon. Bye everyone.